So we are here at GenCon 2012 with Stephen Bonacore of Stronghold Games, and we have a literal truckload of games to get to. So without further ado, I'm going to let Stephen haul forth on the veritable plethora of games we have to talk about.
Thanks for coming, guys. Really appreciate it. We've got 5 new releases here. 4 that are available here, but also 1 more that didn't quite make it. We'll talk about all 5 of those. For Revolver, we have 2 expansions that have just come out. We're calling expansion 1.1 and 1.2. These are expansions that are going to add a new mechanic into the game, which is called the ambush mechanic. So now you're going to be able to ambush people at the various battlefields that you play on Revolver. If you know Revolver, it's a 2-player Wild West themed game, shootout between the McCready, with the McCready as the lawmen and Colty as the guys who just held up the bank in Repentant Springs, and they battle across all these fields until the 315 train. And if Jack Colty can make it off that train, he wins the game. And then McCready's got to kill every one of his those bad guys out there. So just got these out, and we haven't even announced yet, but it's been hinted on. There's going to be a Revolver 2 that's coming out. And both games are going to be supported independently, so it's not like one replaces the other one.
Okay.
So the Revolver in our red box, our original one, is going to be supported with expansions, and Revolver 2 is going to give more thematic elements into the Revolver world with some different mechanics. There's going to be like a faux poker mechanic in the game as well. Really kind of cool stuff. We're going to be supporting Revolver going forward for quite a while.
What brought about that rejuvenation of the game?
Mark Chaplin is a brilliant designer, and he does research, and he just said, you know what, we've got another idea for this, and White Goblin is the main publisher and we're the co-publisher, and we said, this sounds great, let's just do it, let's do it again. So we're going to be going with both of these game lines simultaneously going forward. It's going to be great.
When will that one be available?
That will be available for Essen.
Okay.
Moving forward, we have 2 small card games that we also came out with. By the way, all of the games that we're talking about right now are on pre-order on my website, so if you guys can go over to the website, get a little discount.
And StrongholdGames.com.
StrongholdGames.com, absolutely. Crazy Creatures of Dr. Gloom, not to be associated with Dr. Doom, which is the way it came out in Europe, but I didn't want to get sued by another multi-billion-dollar, not that I was ever sued, but another multi-billion-dollar firm like Marvel coming after me for Dr. Doom, so we changed it to Dr. Gloom. And in this is a Michael Schock game of Zularedo fame, Aquaredo, Coloredo. Great designer, and he's done a lot of things. In Crazy Creatures of Dr. Gloom, you basically have to get rid of all of your cards, which you're playing onto these monster machines that Dr. Gloom is creating his creatures. You're getting rid of your cards. You either play them up in numerical sequence or down in numerical sequence. If you get rid of all of your cards, everyone takes 1 more turn, and then the person with the most points in their hand loses that hand, and the game continues for the number of hands versus the number of players. Really nice, light game, plays in 20 minutes until you get to your meteor games. We're kind of getting into the lower end of the price spectrum here, just to expand the line in some really good ways to keep people who are buying the bigger games like Confusion and Outpost and Core Worlds. Now they can get into some of the smaller games as well, make it easy for them to approach those games.
Seems like it would be more open to a wider range of players too, sort of more family oriented.
Yes, absolutely. Again, like if you like Survive, but maybe it's a higher price point for you. Lost Temple, another family kind of game that you can play. Now you get into light card games you can also play with your family. Little Devils is a game where you are taking tricks, or not taking tricks as the case may be. The interesting part of Little Devils is the person who plays the second card of the trick. I play a card with a number on it. The next person decides if this trick is going to be going up or going down. The cards are numbered 1 to 54, and you scale it depending on the number of players. You take some cards out. If I played a 12 card and you played a 15, now that trick has got to go up. I can't take the trick, but the person who then plays the highest card is going to take that trick. Again, it scales really nicely from 3 to 6 players, and at a $15 price point, again, nice at the bottom of the market. So you can pick up a game like this if you can't get into a meteor game, a bigger game, or in general, you play a game like this, and then you play bigger meteor games later. So I'm trying to be in many different parts of the price spectrum and different types of games.
Well, this fits in the sort of classic, a twist on a classic, trick-taking game.
Absolutely.
Games that more people are familiar with, so you're just doing a little tweak of something that a lot of people are already familiar with, so it brings in more players as well.
That's exactly right. Also on pre-order on my website, but not for sale, small little frowny face there, is Milestones. And Milestones is another a game in our line which is a departure from what we've had here. Most of my games are relatively thematic kinds of games. Here, this is a Euro. My first Euro. We're doing 2 Euros this year, Milestones and CO2, which has got all kinds of great buzz on the Geek right now, from the designer Vital Lacerda, who did Venus last year, which was a really big, ultra big 3-hour kind of Euro. Yeah. CO2 is another meaty Euro, but a little bit shorter, in playing like hour and a half or so kind of thing. But Milestones, which we didn't make for the show, but is now on pre-order on the website, is by Stefan Dora and Ralph Zerlindi, another famous design team. And here, in this game, you have 2 different things that are occurring. I can show it to you. The camera probably can't pick it up. You're not only building a route to score your victory points, but each player has an individual rondelle, a player mat in front of them where you'll be taking actions as you move around the rondelle. But what's interesting here versus other rondelle games is that rondelle is yours personally, and it changes turn to turn. So you go out and you'll be purchasing workers, putting them on the rondelle, and therefore all of a sudden you can get more of the purple cubes versus more of the white cubes, so that you can then use those to build the roads.
So you sort of shape your rondelle as the game goes on.
That's exactly right. So not only is it an individual rondelle, it is a flexible or a personal shaping of a rondelle to be able to take the actions and get the resources that you want to take. And everybody must stop at the castle to pay the king homage. You lose a guy, he works for the king instead. You have to discard some of your resources, and then you start your rondelle going around again. So really, really nice, light, medium weight Euro game. I highly recommend this for those who are into like streamline mechanics, Euro mechanics. Really nice game.
It's fun to see you stretching into a new realm for you all, doing sort of more Euro style games and adding those to your lineup. Seems like from the family oriented to the Euro, the goal is kind of broaden the perspective for Stronghold. At least from my perspective.
No,
that's
exactly right. That's exactly right, Stephen. We're essentially looking to get more and more gamers to know about the brand, right? I mean, more and more gamers in general to be gamers, more people to be gamers,
right,
but to know about the brand, right? So people who know us for this, I can now extend that market into Euro gamers. Oh, you've got some Euros? Let me take a look at Stronghold and all their products. People want to buy light card games? Oh, let me take a look. Oh, Survive is there as well. So just going across the spectrum of games is really what I'm trying to do right now. We've got a lot of stuff. I just talked about 5 and then even more.
Yeah.
I'll talk about like maybe one more.
Okay.
Oh. This is a handmade copy of Crude the Oil game, which was known as McMulty in the 80s. And this is, first of all,
yes,
about 8 pounds of gaming goodness. And this was handmade, just delivered here by the China factory who's doing this game. Big plastics game. I had some, it'll take a while to open up, but I can show you some of the pieces. But if you can see them, there's 300 plastic pieces in here. You have oil barrels and gasoline barrels, gas stations, refineries to change the crude oil into gasoline. You have drilling rigs to try to find oil, and you have oil wells to pump it out of the ground. So not only it is a quasi-Euro economic simulation, because there are dice rolling. There are dice rolling for those who really love dice off camera over there. Some good dice rolling in here to make it nice, a little bit of randomness when the market changes. There's going to be a little randomness when the economy changes. But what really sells, of course, this game are these bits. Gooberific. This game is gooberific. So you like economic simulations, you like the game. You like goober, you really like the game. And that's going to be Crude the Oil game. This one will be out for Essen as well. That's right. And that's pretty much. I mean, I'll mention like 2 more quick things.
Okay.
We have the expansion for Core Worlds that's coming out. Core Worlds Galactic Orders. That's Andrew Parks, noted designer of Core Worlds, right there. He's teaching the game and playing the game with people. We have a prototype of the expansion here, not the actual expansion.
Okay.
And also we have Space Cadets coming out.
Right.
Space Cadets by Jeff Engelstein. Jeff is here at the convention too, and he's doing demos over in the open gaming area. And that's a cooperative, real-time simulation of people running a starship on the bridge, a non-IP infringing starship on the bridge of that starship. So in real time, you've got to each player is taking a different position, and like the helmsman's got to plot the course, like sort of like Robo Rally style. He's got to put down the cards, and then the ship is going to move. Because the guy who does the shields has got to like do a concentration game to figure out if he can power up the shields. So there's 5 different games that everybody. So if you're not good at like dexterity, then you're not going to flick the torpedoes down the torpedo ram.
Okay.
You know, if you're not good at memory, you don't do the concentration. But everyone's going to have a nice role in that game, and it all comes together. And the captain tells everybody, gives them the orders and coordinates everything. Really going to be a big game, I think, for us. It's a real gamers cooperative game, and just fun.
We got kind of a sneak peek at that last year.
Oh,
I think before you had even decided on it, maybe. Even, and
boy.
we thought, I hope somebody picks this one up.
Excellent.
It seemed like a game that would be a surefire hit. So I'm glad to know that it's coming soon. To
Yes,
a table
it is
near
coming
you.
soon to a table near you.
Well, I know that there's even more, but we're going to save that for Essex.
We'll save it best. We'll see you there, right?
We'll see you there and
Awesome,
talk
man.
more about the next generation of games from Stronghold then.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.